This is Odell, and this is the third tutorial on Galactic Mail. Right now we've got our object flying, landed, and we can fly around and hit asteroids, which restarts the game, or we can land on special moons and clear it. So what we're going to do now is create the object of the explosion. So when we hit an asteroid, oh, there's an explosion. So let's right click here and let's create an object. And the sprite, the only object's going to be named OBJ. Let's do object explosion, and let's give it the sprite or the explosion. Alright, let's set the depth to -10 so it's on top of everything else. Now this explosion is going to be created when you hit an asteroid. So when it is created, we want at the animation end, when it's created, oops, sorry, we want it to play a sound, and it's going to be the explosion sound, and we do not need to loop it. Okay, and then we want to show the high score table, so this is where the other and animation end comes in. So at the end of the sprite animation for the explosive, we're going to show the high score table, and I'm just going to choose the defaults for this. Then the last step is we are going to restart the game. And there we go. So we got the explosion, and when it's created, it's going to play the sound. When its animation end, at the end of its animation, we're going to show the high score table, and we are going to restart the game. Okay. Then what we have to do is we have to modify the flying object, so when it does collide with an asteroid, we don't want it to restart the game anymore. We want it to create relative to its own location. We are going to create the explosion object, which will end the game. Relative 0. Okay, looks good here. And then the last thing we probably want to do is destroy the instance of itself, because when it runs into the asteroid, it explodes and destroys itself. Now we're going to go to the special moon, start messing around with the score a little bit. You notice you can just camp out on an asteroid and basically finish the game. But now we're going to add a little bit of a penalty for camping out on those asteroids. You're going to start losing points. So talk about points. At the game start, we're going to set the score to 1,000, which is down in score. Set the score to 1,000. Not relative, please. That'll give you 1,000 more points. Okay. Then when you're landed on an asteroid, you want it to start counting that down. So we have object landed open, or that's the object that's in the room when we're landed on an asteroid. So what we want to do is we want to take our score, and we're going to go make it count down -1 relative. So it's going to take 30 points off a second for camping out on those asteroids. Okay. The other way we're going to get points is when you're flying around and you hit a moon. We're going to change our instances still, but we're also going to add 500 points relative to what you have already. And let's add a little bonus sound for achieving that goal. People like sound when they achieve a goal in a game. The next part is we're going to make it so when you've cleared all the moons for that level, that you can go on to another level. So first, let's make another room. To make it easy, I'm just going to duplicate this room first. I'm going to go up to the settings tab, and I'm going to call it room second. And then you can change it. You can make it bigger. You can add more asteroids and moons. Make it harder if you want. That's up to you. That'll come later. I'll just show you how to do the programming. Okay. Now to check to see if we have any moons left, we're going to put that on this land. No, not the landed object. We're going to put it on the flying objects. So it's flying around and there's no moons. Something's wrong. Okay. So we're going to go with the collision event with the object moon. And that's where all the change instances is and all the score. This is the place where we want to check for moons. Right after we collide, if there's no moons left, then we go on to the next room. So we want to, under control, we want to test for instances of an object that are in the room. That object is going to be the moon, and if the moon is equal to 0, that means the room is done. So if this is true, we're going to do a number of things. This is an if statement in programming. This is your first little introduction to drag and drop programming. So if there are no moons left, it'll run the code that's in between these blocks. So what we want to do first is we probably want to sleep a little bit here. And sleep is under the main2 tag. Drag that in there first. 1,000 milliseconds, that's fine. That's probably about what is exactly a second. We're going to do that, and then the score, we might as well give them, well, let's say probably 1,000 points relative to boost their score. And then what we want to do is we want to go to the next room. Right there. Go to the next room, transition, not going to have any transition effect this time. Okay, so when I collide with the moon, I'm going to change instances, and I'm going to destroy the special moon, because I'm changing a special moon into, or the moon into a special moon. I'm going to give myself some points for getting it, getting that moon. Play a little bonus sound, and then I'm going to check at that point, hey, is there any moons left in the room? If there are no moons left in the room, sleep for a second, give the player some score, a little more score there, and then go to the next room. There's your first little programming block. Okay. Let's make it look a little better by creating a title screen at the front before people can play. So let's create a sprite, and we're going to load the sprite, and we're looking for the title. There it is. Looks nice. Hit open, and we're going to call this SPR TITLE. Cool. And now we're going to make the sprite object, the title object. So object title, and we're going to give it the sprite of the title, and we're going to set the depth to 1 to put it at the right depth. Okay, so now we're going to do a creation event. And now this is really going to handle the music and the score. We're going to have to take it off the other object though. Here's a little trick. You can just open up a special moon, and we can go to the game start stuff, and we can just grab these things like that. And then game start will automatically go away because there's no actions within the event. It'll automatically delete those. Now when the object title is created, the sound, set to background, and we're going to set the score to 1,000. Okay. Lastly, we are going to hit an event, and it's going to be keyboard. We're going to put any key, and when any key is hit, we're going to go to the next room. Okay? All right. Well, let's make a new room now. And we are going to call it, let's do it room title. Okay? Might as well give it a background. Now we're going to put we'll put some asteroids in there and stuff just to make it look good. Oops, got to go to the Object tab, and then under Title, let's put a couple moons in there, and let's put a couple asteroids in there. I'm not going to put the ship in there because it could screw things up if there's collisions. And then let's slap the title right there in the middle of the screen. Alright, now it has its room. Okay, we want to put that up first. So that runs first. And then you hit a space, it goes to the first room. You clear that room, and it goes to the second room. Let's have a little test now. We've done quite a bit of stuff, so let's see if what we've done works. Okay. We got a little 3D effect there in space. There's my landed. That's what we want. Yeah, you have the high score. Okay, here we go. There's one. Oops, that didn't turn out very well. One moon. Two. Oops, that was a mistake. 3 rooms. Alright, it goes to the next room. Alright, good. There's my score. Going down. Works. Okie dokie. We've got score, but now let's do how to win. We're going to create an object that doesn't need a sprite because you're not going to be able to see it. This is called a controller. It just controls stuff, and it doesn't have a visual appearance in the game. Object, let's see, we call it finish. And when object finish is created, we're going to display a message. I think that's under there, and we're going to say something like, congratulations. Congrats, you just won the game. And then let's give people probably about, I'm going to give somebody 2,000 points relative to what they have already. And then why don't we just show them their high score. There we go, to see if they made it onto the high score. And at this point we can restart the game when this thing, all this display message stuff is done. The way this object is going to be triggered is when you finish the second room. So let's make a new room, and we can call this settings. We can call it room. Let's do like room finish or something like that. Okay. And then the only object that's going to go in there is the finish object. So once that room is entered, the finish object is created and it shows the high score and finishes up the game. Now for a little bit of fancy visuals. Let's make those now. We're going to change the sprites of the moon. So let's load a new sprite. And this is going to be bases. Strip, but strip isn't in there. Bases. Okay, there's all these different bases. We're going to do that. Now, if you were to edit this and preview it, you'd see that that's what you'd see on the screen. So we need to stop that from happening and pick a random one of those. Yes, let's save it. So let's go to the object moon. Okay. Then, when the object gets created, we're going to change the sprite. It's going to be the moon sprite, which is the strip we just loaded. And there are 8 images, so we're going to choose a random one. random 8, which will return, this function here will return a number between 0 and 8, which will pick one of the random sub-images. And we're going to put the speed to 0 so that it doesn't continue to cycle through those different images. Okay, let's do it for the special moon 2. So you open up the object special moon, and when it's created, we're going to change a sprite, and the sprite's going to be the moon one. Sub-image is random. 8 and a speed of 0, so it's not cycling through its images also. Now let's add a little twist to the asteroid. The asteroid sprite has a bunch of different images, 180 of them. It only turns 2 degrees, 360, right? 2 degrees every part of the game, or every round of the game. Frame, I should say. So let's go to the asteroid, and on its creation, on its creation event, we're going to do the same thing kind of. We're going to change the sprite, and it's going to be in the asteroid, and the sub image is going to be random, open and close parentheses, 180, and the speed, let's go random here, random 4, so it'll have a speed randomly chosen between 0 and 4, and I think that would have given me an error, so let's do 180 degrees. I accidentally typed 189 degrees there. Alright, let's see how things look now. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't center the sprite. That's why I got a mistake there. Okay, that's easy to fix. So, let's see. It was the moon, right? And I need to center it. I forgot that step. So it was plopped over the upper left-hand corner of it instead of in the center, because that's where the origin of the sprites are by default. Where am I? I'm off the screen. Alright, that's enough. Oh, didn't do so well. Alright. Okay, that's the working game. You also can put game information here. Created by Mr. Odell. There we go. So people can come in here and you can keep track of variables, and you can also keep track of where you left off for the day. So it's just a nice way for people who are going to edit your game to come in and get some information about it. Okay, have a good day.